A Canadian e-commerce startup is making shoppers, retailers, and tech investors sit up and take notice. Shopify is made a name for itself helping merchants launch and manage online stores. Harley Finkelstein is Chief Platform Officer at Shopify. We talked earlier, and I started by asking him to explain the business.
Shopify is a platform that allows anyone to sell a product using any means. And so if you want to build an online store, you can use Shopify for that. If you want to sell using a point-of-sale device in your brick-and-mortar location, you can use us for that as well. And even if you're selling at a craft show or a farmer's market, you can use our mobile product for that.
And you now have 100,000 businesses.
We do.
Pretty big milestone. So there must be a big range of the types of businesses that use it?
Yeah. I would say that most of our retailers or merchants would self-identify as SMBs. A lot of them make things themselves, so original manufacturers, but we have merchants that sell everything from fashion apparel to services. And but most of our merchants would self-identify as SMBs. Yeah.
One of the founders developed it because he was trying to sell something and was frustrated at the platforms available?
Yes, it's a really interesting story. In 2004, Toby was trying to build a snowboard shop online. And at the time, it was either really inexpensive to build a snowboard shop, but you had to use something like eBay or Yahoo stores, which wasn't very scalable, or it was very expensive and a big company would build it for you. And he was just frustrated with the products on the market, and so he wrote his own piece of software to sell these snowboards. Very quickly realized that selling snowboards was a good idea, but selling the software behind the store was a great idea, and we've been committed to democratizing retail ever since.
And so, obviously the differentiating factor would be that kind of software. It's the kind of plug-and-play aspect of it for your customers?
Yeah, so the idea with Shopify was, what if we were to make software that traditionally only the largest of companies can afford at price points that small business can afford? And what if we made it really easy? And so we like to say that if you know how to use email, you can easily build a store on Shopify. That's sort of the technical requirements. And so it's really inexpensive, it's really easy to use, and most importantly, it's really scalable. So you can start with Shopify, and then you can grow and do tens of millions of dollars a year and not ever have to re-platform, which we're very proud of.
And so which parts of an e-commerce sort of universe do you manage for businesses? Can you manage the back end, or do they need to think about distribution in some other way? Is it the front end? Where do you fit?
So the only thing that you need to do as a merchant in the online with Shopify in terms of the online service is you need to drive traffic to your store. Everything else we take care of. So the front end, the store design, the way it looks, the way it functions, we take care of that. The back end in terms of your merchant analytics, your inventory, your CRM, we take care of that as well. And so the only thing we don't do is drive traffic to your site. We help you with that, but that's up to you. But everything else Shopify takes care of.
So I'm thinking of a possible competitor, and a little company comes to mind, just a small one called Amazon. Where are you in terms of that kind of landscape? And that's pretty giant.
Totally. I mean, Amazon is the gorilla in the room. There's no question about it. First and foremost, from a consumer perspective, I think Amazon has become the go-to place for products that have a barcode on it, a universal barcode on it, more of commodity products. If I want to buy laundry detergent, I'll probably go to Amazon because they have economies of scale, it's cheap, it's quick to get from them. But if I'm looking for a great pair of sneakers or a really cool wallet, I'm probably not going to go to Amazon. I want to go to a really cool online boutique, and those are the type of stores we power. From a retailer perspective, we actually encourage our merchants to cross-sell on places like Amazon and eBay as well, and it all feeds back into Shopify. So you know that your inventory is being depleted, you understand your accounting through Shopify, but we encourage our merchants to cross-sell anywhere they can.
Give me a sense of how hard it has been to develop this kind of business in Canada especially, because we talk a lot about the market for venture capital and whether people are open to this kind of investment. What's your experience?
I think that in the early days, we started in Ottawa because that's where we were located. And as we sort of grew and got a couple thousand customers, very quickly there was a bit of pressure, or people would ask us, how come we're not moving to the Valley or moving to New York or something like that? The truth is we've stayed in Canada because we think that access to talent here is fantastic. There was a bit of a difficult time in the early days, sort of between 2006, 2010, raising money. There wasn't much cross-border investment. But I would say since 2010, there's been a ton of cross-border investment activity. Access to talent has been fantastic, and we have now offices in Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa, and we're really happy in Canada. We haven't felt that it's been a disability to us at all.
And you do operate globally? So
we do, yeah. That's right. We have over 100,000 stores in more than 150 countries, and we're doing it all out of Canada. So we're a proud Canadian company.
And so as you look down the road, what are the next big milestones for Shopify?
Sure. So one of the reasons we raised our last series of financing, Series C, which was a $100 million round in December, was we want to do for the rest of retail what we did for online retail. we believe we've done a pretty good job of democratizing online retail, giving it to small businesses. Now we actually want to provide the same sort of services in other areas of retail. So point of sale for offline, Shopify Mobile for the mobile products. We even have our own payment company now, payment gateway, called Shopify Payments. So now that we feel like we have a pretty good sense of the online, we have a pretty good bite of the online space, we want to take on the rest of retail as well, and that's what the money's going to be used for.
And do you see yourself moving up the food chain in retail? I mean, could some of the very biggest retail players, some of whom surprisingly haven't gone onto the e-commerce space, could they come to Shopify?
Yeah, so interesting enough, although most of our merchants, as I mentioned, self-identify as small businesses, we have companies like Google and GE and Wikipedia and Tesla, Los Angeles Lakers, Gatorade, Amnesty International. We have mega brands also using Shopify, which is really great. I mean, our focus is always going to be on the small business space, but it's a great endorsement in terms of scalability of our platform that some of these Fortune 500s are also using Shopify.
All right, we got to leave it there. We appreciate your time.
Great, thanks so much.